Hello, everyone, and welcome back. We're so excited you've joined us because today's topic is something that almost every English learner struggles with, no matter their level. If you've ever found yourself translating every thought before speaking, then this episode is definitely for you.
That's right, Anna, because translating feels like the safe option at first, but it actually becomes one of the biggest obstacles to speaking naturally. Instead of having a smooth conversation, your brain gets stuck doing extra work, and that can make even simple questions feel stressful.
Exactly. Think about what happens when someone asks you something as easy as, "What did you have for breakfast?" Instead of answering immediately, your brain usually starts jumping back and forth between two languages before you even open your mouth.
I know that feeling so well because I used to do it all the time. First, I'd understand the English question, then I'd translate it into my native language, think of my answer, and finally translate everything back into English before speaking.
That's already 4 separate steps for one simple answer, and it's no surprise that conversations start feeling slow and exhausting. Meanwhile, the other person is just waiting for your response, and that often makes you even more nervous.
Exactly. And once nerves enter the picture, it becomes even harder to remember words you already know. The goal isn't to become a faster translator, it's to stop translating altogether and begin thinking directly in English.
That's exactly what we're going to help you do today. We'll share several easy habits that slowly train your brain to connect ideas directly with English words. And the best part is that you can practice every single one of them in your normal daily routine.
None of these tips require expensive courses or hours of studying grammar either. They're simple exercises that fit naturally into your day, whether you're at home, walking outside, cooking dinner, or waiting for the bus.
Let's begin with probably the easiest exercise you can start today. Simply look around wherever you are and name the things you see using English instead of your native language.
It sounds almost too simple to make a difference, but your brain learns through repetition. Every time you connect an object directly with its English name, you're strengthening that connection without relying on translation.
For example, maybe you're sitting at your desk right now. Instead of thinking about the object in your own language first, immediately think laptop, notebook, chair, or water bottle.
Once you've named the object, take it one step further by creating a short sentence. You could say, "My laptop is open," or "The water bottle is almost empty," because complete thoughts help your brain build stronger English patterns.
I actually like doing this whenever I'm drinking coffee in the morning. I'll simply look at my mug and think, my coffee is still hot, or I need another cup, and I never stop to translate those ideas anymore.
I do something similar while working because my desk is full of little things I can describe. Some days I find myself thinking, my notebook is messy, or I should organize these papers without even realizing I'm practicing English.
That's the amazing part about this exercise. It doesn't feel like studying. You're simply describing the world around you, but every description trains your brain to think faster in English.
Exactly. And over time, those English words start appearing automatically. Eventually, when you see a chair or a phone, the English word becomes the first thing that comes into your mind instead of your native language.
Now let's move on to one of my favorite techniques, even though it might sound a little funny at first. Start talking to yourself throughout the day, either quietly in your head or out loud if you're alone.
People sometimes think that's strange, but honestly, it's one of the best ways to build fluency because you're creating real thoughts instead of memorizing textbook sentences. There's no pressure because nobody is judging you.
Imagine you're making breakfast before work. You can think, I'm making coffee now, I need some bread, or where did I leave my keys? Just as if you were having a conversation with yourself.
The great thing is that you're describing real situations as they happen. Since everything is happening in front of you, your brain naturally connects the action with English instead of trying to translate it afterward.
I even do this while cleaning my apartment sometimes. I'll think, this room is getting cleaner, or I need to vacuum the floor. And after a while, those sentences start feeling completely natural.
I love using this trick while grocery shopping because there are so many opportunities to practice. I'll think things like, I need tomatoes, these apples look fresh, or that line is really long today.
Notice how none of those sentences are complicated. They're short, useful, and connected to real life, which is exactly why they're so effective for building confidence.
That's a really important point because fluency doesn't begin with difficult vocabulary. It begins with being able to express simple ideas quickly, and those simple ideas slowly grow into longer conversations.
Speaking of simple ideas, here's another mistake that many learners make. They try to create long, complicated sentences in their heads before they've become comfortable thinking in English.
That's so true because your brain doesn't need to sound like a university professor right away. Short sentences are much easier to build and they allow your thoughts to keep moving instead of getting stuck.
Let's imagine you're planning to go shopping later today. Instead of thinking, I'm considering going to the supermarket this afternoon because I might need vegetables for dinner, just simplify it.
You could think, I need vegetables, I'll go shopping, and maybe I'll cook tonight. Those 3 simple thoughts communicate the same idea, but they're much faster for your brain to produce.
That's exactly how fluent speakers think most of the time anyway. They don't carefully plan every sentence, they simply express one idea after another in a natural flow.
Once short sentences become automatic, your brain will naturally start combining them into longer ones. You don't have to force that process because it happens with regular practice.
We've already covered 3 incredibly useful habits today, and the best part is that you can start practicing every one of them the moment this episode ends. None of them take extra time. They simply fit into the things you're already doing every day. And trust us, consistency is much more important than perfection. Even spending 5 or 10 minutes thinking directly in English every day can completely change the way you speak after a few weeks.
Another technique that can make a huge difference is learning how to express the same idea in more than one way. This helps your brain become more flexible, so if one phrase doesn't come to mind during a conversation, you'll naturally have another option ready.
That's such a useful habit because real conversations are unpredictable and we don't always say things the exact same way. The more ways you can communicate one idea, the more confident and natural your English starts to sound.
One exercise I really enjoy is saying the same thought in more than one way. It keeps your vocabulary active and teaches your brain that there's never just one correct sentence.
For example, instead of only saying, I'm hungry, you could also think, I want something to eat, or I could grab a snack. The meaning stays the same, but you're becoming much more flexible with your English.
Let's talk about listening, because this is where many learners miss a great opportunity. Rather than listening to a podcast once and moving on, try listening a second time after thinking about what you understood.
You'll be surprised how much more you notice during the second listen. Since you already know the topic, your brain can focus on new words, pronunciation, and sentence patterns instead of trying to understand everything at once.
Emotions make learning much more memorable. So whenever you feel something during the day, try describing that feeling in English. Whether you're excited, tired, frustrated, or proud, use those moments as speaking practice.
I love this tip because it's completely natural. Instead of memorizing emotional vocabulary from a book, you're using it in real situations, which makes those words much easier to remember.
Another useful habit is thinking in pictures instead of words. When you imagine your kitchen, your office, or your favorite park, picture the place first and then name what you see in English.
That simple change removes translation completely. Your brain already understands images, so you're creating a direct connection between what you see and the English vocabulary.
Wherever you are, take a moment to describe what's happening around you. You might think, I hear music, the room is quiet, or I smell fresh coffee.
It's a great way to practice everyday English because you're describing real life instead of imaginary situations. The more often you do this, the more natural those descriptions become.
You don't always need dedicated study time to improve. Count the stairs as you climb them, describe your shopping list, or tell yourself what you're about to do next, all in English.
Those little moments might seem insignificant, but they add up quickly. A few seconds of practice throughout the day can easily become several minutes of English thinking without changing your schedule.
One last technique that's incredibly effective is shadowing. Listen to a short sentence from a podcast or video, pause it, and repeat it immediately while copying the speaker's rhythm and pronunciation.
You can even record yourself once in a while and listen back. It might feel a little uncomfortable at first, but it's one of the fastest ways to notice your progress and identify small areas you can improve.
Before we wrap up, remember that fluency isn't about speaking perfectly every time. It's about building the habit of thinking directly in English, one small step at a time.
Exactly. Don't worry about using every tip today. Choose one that feels easy, practice it consistently, and let it become part of your daily routine.
Thanks so much for spending time with us today. We hope these strategies help you feel more confident every time you speak English. If you enjoyed this episode, share it with another English learner who could use these tips, and we'd love to hear which technique you're going to try first.
Until next time, keep practicing.
Keep believing in yourself.
And most importantly, keep thinking in English.